24-year-old Evelyn Rivera has her hands full. The single mother of 2 little boys wants to go back to school to get her GED, but she has one major problem. She doesn't have a way to get to a class, or a job, or even the grocery store for that matter, because she doesn't drive. And even if she could, she says she can't afford a car.
It's very frustrating, very.
Frustrating because when Evelyn has to bring 3-year-old Dracarius to the doctor in Greenfield, she often has to walk with her 2 kids in tow.
The winter, I don't usually make appointments because then I can't get to them. So I try not to make appointments during that, unless the kids are like really sick.
Evelyn has to rely on public transportation, taxis, or friends just to get basic things done like grocery shopping.
I get looks at sometimes like I'm walking out in the cold with my children. Like people look at you like, why are you walking out with your children? And I can't take the cab or the bus, so.
To take the bus, Evelyn has to walk with her children down to that stop sign and take a left. And the bus only comes twice a day, which means often she has to call for a taxi to take her to appointments, and that'll run her about $6 each way.
Even though it's $5.75, I have to put that towards diapers or my kids' medicine.
And Evelyn certainly isn't the only one struggling and often feeling stranded in the Greenfield-Montague area. Susan Marinek is the executive director of Montague Catholic Social Ministries, where Evelyn tries to attend programs if she can find a way to get there.
Many of the people in our own programs have transportation deficits. They don't have their own private source of transportation, and transportation in rural areas is very limited. So it impacts people's ability to be self-sufficient. They cannot get to a job. They cannot get to the kind of health care they need. They cannot get their children to school. They cannot do a host of things that the rest of us take for granted.
But Marinek is hoping to change that with a little help from the Catholic Campaign for Human Development. Montague Catholic Social Ministries will be one of 5 local agencies receiving funds from the CCHD collection this year.
The Catholic Campaign for Human Development is supporting us in helping our community organize themselves around the issue of improved public transportation.
Franklin Regional Transit Authority runs the buses in the area. Marinek says she'd like to see the buses run more often, and she's reaching out to people like Kara McLaughlin from the Gill Montague Community School Partnership and others to find ways to bring those most in need into the discussion.
Whether our group is working on trying to understand why we have a low turnout of parents' involvement in academics at the school, or is that because of a transportation issue, or if it's kids not feeling connected to school because they can't stay after school because they can't play sports because their parents can't pick them up and drive them home.
Tina Cody, the administrator of the Franklin Regional Transit Authority, says they're constantly trying to come up with ways to improve services. But she adds that in order to add more service in this difficult economy, they need a commitment from the town and the state to cover the cost. S. Quick Change, who lives in Turners Falls, wrote a song about transportation.
Bring them on, bring them on, bring on those bus rides. When you hear our song, why don't you tune in and bring them on?
Quick Change says it's often hard for her to get to necessary rehab 3 times a week.
This morning I missed my bus and had to pay for a cab, and that really was not good. It wasn't money I could afford.
We try not to think of these programs as a hand out so much as it is a leg up.
Catherine Buckley Bronner, the director of the Office of Peace and Justice for the Diocese of Springfield, said the upcoming CCHD collection is critical to help pull people out of poverty by helping to change their situation.
Charity is a wonderful thing, and direct assistance will always be needed. But CCHD really hopes to get to the justice issues and to help people find the voice, empower them to be that voice in the public arena.
Since 1970, the Catholic Campaign for Human Development has funded community groups that create affordable housing, for example, provide job training, and help low-income people develop new businesses. This year's theme is Families Are Struggling, Faith is Calling. CCHD, which awarded $7.7 million to agencies throughout the United States in 2009, has had to combat criticism surrounding one past national grant recipient, ACORN, or the Association of Community Organizations for Reform Now. According to the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, the funding for that group was cut more than a year ago when the USCCB became aware of a major embezzlement case involving ACORN, and long before recent allegations of ACORN employees telling an independent filmmaker posing as a pimp in an undercover sting operation how to apply for an illegal housing loan. Buckley Bronner said the Diocese of Springfield never sent local funds to ACORN.
Equally important in any funding, whether it be CCHD or any bishop's funding, is that agencies and projects comply with Catholic moral teaching, and that they do not promote partisan political activity.
She said she also wanted to clear up misinformation sent out by the American Life League in recent weeks. On a postcard, the group states that the CCHD collection supports groups that support abortion, contraception, and prostitution.
When and if allegations are brought to the bishops that agencies or programs are not in compliance with Catholic moral teaching, we investigate immediately. And CCHD, if they find that those allegations are true, funding ceases immediately, and we ask that what has already been funded be returned.
Buckley Bronner says the goal of the collection is simply to change lives and lift people up, people like Evelyn and her boys.
I don't really want to be known for like low poverty, so I'm trying to work myself up from that.
Evelyn says after she gets her GED, she wants to go on to study massage therapy to provide a better future for her children. And she says she has very big dreams for them. What do you want to see for your children when they grow up? What do you want them to be?
I want them to finish school, college, things that I didn't get to do, and maybe become a doctor or something, a lawyer of that sort.
For now, Evelyn says she's praying that God will continue to help them with their immediate needs and help make it a little bit easier to get around.